Hey, what's up YouTube? It's B-Rock here with another great review. Today we're looking at the Dynastar M-31 vacuum tube overdrive unit. It's got a 12AX7 tube. It's actually a preamp in the form of a pedal. This was, I believe, made in the late 80s, maybe even in the 90s. It's a true bypass. So here's the volume, which is the power switch. It's got a standard AC plug that plugs directly in. There's no 9-volt potential here, as it is a real tube pedal, so it requires real power from the mains. So as you can see, true bypass, pedal's completely off. Turn it on, and the little green light comes on. And I would say that you want to have the volume up. Unity is just past 10 there. All right, so let me just move that over. Okay, so let me tell you what we're using today. 1998 Gibson Les Paul Studio, all stock, going into a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe version 3. It's got the Celestion speaker in it, and it's got the black panel. They're good sounding, relatively affordable gigging amps. I'm going into the higher gain channel, channel 1. Everything is set at noon, except for the presence, which is down about 4. And just a smidge of reverb, as you know, people that know Fender amps, they have tons of verb. Alright, so here's the tone, clean sound. Has both pickups on. Here's the bridge pickup by itself. All right, so let's give a listen here. I have all the overdrive, treble, bass, mid-range, all halfway up, and as I said before, the volume's just past 10 there. So here's the volume. Switch pedal on. All right, that's a little loud, so bring it back to 10. So that's a nice, straight up classic rock sound. Great tone. All right, so let's start messing with some knobs. Let's bring the gain back down to 4. We'll start with the treble knob. Alright, so let's bring that bad boy down to 2. Alright, so let's bring the treble up to 4. Alright, not too bad. Bringing it up, get a little bit more clarity. Alright, so let's bring the gain up a little bit. We're up to 6 now. Alright, bring it back up to, we're already at 8, so let's go up to 10. That's a great sound right there. Alright, let's keep going with the treble. Up to 12. Let's use both pickups. Alright, not too bad. Keep going. Bring it all the way up. So, treble's maxed out. very nice. Bring that back down to 8. I'm going to bring the gain back up to 8. Alright, remind you of what that bypass sound is. Back on. Nice, not too bad, not too harsh. Now let's look at the bass knob. Bring that down to 2. Now this does cut quite a bit. Very thin. Let's bring it up to 4. And that would come in really handy, guys, if you're using a 412 cab. Since I'm using an open back, you know, the combo. And the louder, you know, the volume goes, the more handy this knob is really going to become. All right, so let's keep it going up to 8. Still pretty tight low end. Not too bad at all. Let's keep that bass going up. Now we're at 10. All right, let's keep it moving up. 12. That's a great sound. Now it'll probably get a little flubby up here. Actually, that still sounds relatively tight. All right, so we'll bring that back down to halfway. So very usable. It's not overly muddy or nasty sounding controls. And now I've killed the mid-range. As you can see, the volume is greatly reduced. And that's where most of the tone comes from in this pedal. So I'm going to compensate by turning the volume up to 12. Still pretty muddy. I'm going to cut the bass back. I'm going to bring the treble up. And keep in mind, this is only 50% of the gain. All right, so let's inch that up. See where the volume is. That's very nice. So I'm going to bring the volume back down a hair. Let's check the clean sound. Let's put these guys back at noon. Still, you got a very scooped sound there. It's a little muddy for my taste. Bring it up to 6. And then we get some more volume boost, so compensate with that master. very clear chords. And we're still on the bridge. Let's hear both pickups together. And into the neck pickup. Alright, not too bad. So let's keep the mid-range going. Knob to 8. Nice sound. Kick in the mid-range. Let's bring it up to 12. Wow, now that is harsh. Let's bring it volume down a little bit. So if you had a really dark amp, that would be very helpful. That's extreme. I'm going to not go past 12 because that is quite painful. So let's go back down to 8, 8, and 8. Now let's have a look at the volume, or rather the gain knob. So here is the volume. Remind you of that clean channel again. All right, so that's our clean. Here's the pedal gauge. All right, still pretty tight. So I'm gonna notch that back a little bit. Let's bring her up to 10. Not too bad, pretty tight. Now let's, I'm gonna bring the mids back ever so slightly. Keep the gain going up. Now we're up to 12. And you notice there's it's noisy. I mean, that's what you're gonna get with the old vacuum tube amp. And there's no ground. This is an AC plug directly into the unit. This is a real vacuum tube pedal. That's a pretty good sound. So I'm going to bring the volume down a little bit, and now you can hear that hum, but you know, hum is just part of the sound. So it's nice and heavy, and since we're up there, let's bring the mid down to 4. Get some more treble in there. Not too bad. I mean, that's a pretty good metal sound. Let's bring this back up here. I'm bringing the gain back down, and you get quite a bit quieter. And I personally, with this particular amp, I like the treble just a hair past halfway. And I'll bring the mid back a smidge. And that's a pretty good rock rhythm tone. And you get pretty good harmonics. Now that's pretty nice. Let's hear that neck pickup. Alright, so back to the bridge there. And then you could use maybe another pedal afterwards in the chain to boost the volume up. Alright, so back again. Here's our bypass signal. Nice and quiet. And just again to show you that it's true bypass. The unit is completely off, which is fantastic. It does not affect, I wish I had an A/B switch here. I'd be able to show you how it does not affect the tone of the instrument. It is a hard bypass. Alright, well guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. This is another look at the Dynastar M-31 vacuum tube overdrive unit. I highly recommend them. Yes, they do take up a little bit of space, but they are fantastic sounding overdrive pedals, or distortion pedals for that matter. Especially if you're using a clean platform with 6L6s, it is an amazing match. So stay tuned for future videos. Thanks for hanging out with me today on B-Rock, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.